morning. Apologies for the tardy start. Anyone traveling from Tulsa perhaps encountered a bad wreck just east of Kellyville. Hereby call this meeting to order, and I'd like to introduce former Secretary Mike Patterson, welcome, and Bobby Stem. Thank you for being here. Commission Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Here.
Mr. Studeville?
Here.
Ms. Billy?
Here.
Mr. Freimiller?
Here.
Mr. Dyson?
Here.
Mr. Alexander? Mr. Scott?
Here.
Mr. Junk? Mr. Peterson?
Here. Director Gatz, you're recognized to, Do we announce the results of the roll? No. Okay, Director Gatz.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
Morning.
Mr. Chairman, if I might introduce Deputy Director Dawn Sullivan so she can make an introduction and announcement herself.
Please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Good morning.
members of the Commission. With the upcoming retirement of Ms. Hilms, ODOT has named Mr. Demetris Carter as Director of Finance to oversee the finance and purchasing teams for the department. Demetris, please stand. Mr. Carter earned his associate's degree in business from OSU OKC and holds his bachelor's degree in accounting and an MBA from Mid-America Christian University. With more than 8 years of state service, Mr. Carter was previously the assistant CFO for ODOT, the director of finance for the Oklahoma Broadband Office, and the ODOT budget manager. He and his family reside in Oklahoma City, and please help us congratulate Mr. Carter again.
Again, welcome. Director Gatz, are you going to continue? Okay, very good, thank you. Item 142 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Commission meeting on December 8th, 2025. Do I have a motion for approval of item 142?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Studeville.
Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Measure passes. Thank you very much. The consent docket contains items 143 through 147. If any commissioner would like to pull an individual item out for discussion, you may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
Freimiller, consent, approve.
Make a motion. Thank you.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Boswell, second.
Thank you very much. Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Item 148 is engineering contracts. Mr. Hernandez, you are recognized to continue. To present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Item 148, engineering contracts. I just have one part today. Part A is a statewide contract, on-demand wetland and stream mitigation. The department has selected 5 firms to provide contract services. They are Blackbird Environmental, Friesen Nichols, HDR Engineering, Olson Incorporated, and Switchgrass Consulting for a combined contract value of $1 million. I'll answer any questions you might have, and approval is recommended.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 148?
Motion, Studeville.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Boswell, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 149 is engineering contract supplements. Mr. Hernandez, you're recognized to continue.
Okay. Engineering contract supplements, agenda item 149, Part A is in District 3, McLean County. This is I-35. Project intent here is to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facility, add safety improvements and capacity to the roadway. The department has previously selected CEC Corporation to provide engineering services. This is their first supplement with a value of $28,390. This is to gather SUE survey and right-of-way staking for utility relocation. Construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with a scheduled let date, federal fiscal year 2027. Part B is in District 3, Pottawatomie County. This is State Highway 102. The project intent here is to add shoulders to a 2-lane highway, reconstruct, rehabilitate the existing facility, and add safety improvements and improve access. The department has previously selected Smith Roberts Balchweiler to provide engineering services. This is their first supplement with a value of $84,000. The intent here is to modify plans to include a shared use path connecting tribal facilities. Construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date in federal fiscal year 2031. Part C is in District 4, Logan County. This is State Highway 51. Project intent here is to widen and resurface and add shoulders to a 2-lane highway. The department has previously selected Jacobs Engineering Group to provide engineering services. This is their second supplement with a value of $750,000. This is to modify plans to include full depth pavement replacement and modify curve geometry where applicable. The right-of-way and utilities for both of these projects, there are 2 projects in this corridor, and they're included in the 8-year construction work plan with the program date of federal fiscal year 2028. And lastly, Part D is District 8, Pawnee County. This is State Highway 18. Project intent here is to reconstruct, rehabilitate existing facilities and add safety improvements. The department has previously selected Smith Roberts Balchweiler to provide engineering design. This is their first supplement with a value of $465,707. The original intent here was just to resurface within right-of-way. Planned development occurred, and the intent now is to modify plans to obtain right-of-way, increase safety in the side slopes, move utilities, and meet 3R criteria. The construction phase of this project is included in the 8-year construction work plan with scheduled let date federal fiscal year 2029. Approval of the engineering supplements is recommended, and I'll answer any questions you might have.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 149?
Motion, Billy.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Item 150 is change orders with cumulative total of $150,000 or less. This is for information only. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Mr. Chairman.
Morning.
Commissioners. Item 150, Parts A through Z. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $150,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only and no actions necessary, but I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions.
Yeah, if there are no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to continue to item 151, change orders with cumulative total greater than $150,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, item 151, Parts A through S. They're change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $150,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 151?
Motion, Dyson.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Fryeler.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 152 is claim for additional payment. Mr. Davis, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Chairman, Commissioners.
Morning.
Item 152 is claims for additional payments. This is in 2 parts. Part A is in District 4, K County, with Rudy Construction Company. This is at Standing Bear Trails in the city of Ponca City. This enhancement contract was awarded by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission on December 5th, 2022 to Rudy Construction Company for a total contract amount of $790,029.48. Contract time was 90 calendar days. The contractor was asked to rework a portion of the park pond shelf due to it not functioning as if plans intended and not allowing the pond to fill to capacity. The cost for this work totaled $140,488.70. Due to this amount causing the total additional appropriations to exceed the statutory limit of 15% on new items on projects of $1 million or less, Commission approval is needed. The Department recognizes the entitlement for this claim, and it is recommended that the Commission authorize a settlement in the amount of $22,478.19. Part B is in District 8. This is in Delaware County, H&G Paving Contractors Incorporated. This is in, the Oklahoma Transportation Commission awarded the contract to H&G Paving Contractors Incorporated, H&G, on July 11, 2022, to construct a roundabout at the intersection of US 412, US 59, State Highway 10 in Delaware County in the town of Little, Kansas. The awarded amount was $992,648.74 with a contract time of 60 calendar days. Time charges began on November 7, 2022. H&G initially failed to perform the required work within the specified time frame and ultimately did not complete the work at all. Over the course of 2 years, multiple attempts were made to correct H&G's lack of performance, but these efforts were ultimately unsuccessful as all progress on the project had ceased. In accordance with Section 108.10 of the ODOT standard specifications, the project was declared in default. ODOT then called upon H&G's performance bond and made demand for the surety to cause the remaining work on the project to be completed. The surety has selected a new contractor to complete the remaining work. New unit prices were established for the remaining work due to the cost escalations that have been realized since the contract was initially awarded. The new bid amount for the remaining work is $969,078, of which $587,863.05 will be funded by the surety, and $279,716.95 will be funded with the remaining dollars on the original contract. A supplemental appropriation of $101,498 is required to fund the remaining reclassified items. Because the requested amount exceeds the statutory limit of 15% on new items on projects of $1 million or less, commission approval is necessary. The department recognizes the entitlement for this claim, and it is recommended that the commission authorize a settlement of $101,498. Approval is recommended. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 152?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second, Dyson.
Thank you. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 153 is the Asset Preservation Plan. Mr. Dudgeon, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Item 153, the Asset Preservation Plan. The department has completed the proposed 2026 through 2029 Asset Preservation Plan with consideration for the critical needs of Oklahoma's transportation infrastructure. The plan contains 95 individual bridges, 1,881 lane miles of pavement improvement, as well as 33 projects targeted to address accessibility deficiencies. The 2026 through 2029 Asset Preservation Plan includes approximately $509 million in total investment in 286 individual projects. Item 153 is presented for information only. No commission action is required, but I will take any questions you may have.
If there are no questions, Mr. Dudgeon, you're recognized to present item 154, 8-year construction work plan.
Thank you, sir. Item 154 is the 8-year construction work plan. The department has completed the proposed 2026 through 2033 construction work plan with consideration for the critical needs and the projected federal and state funding availability. The encompassed projects have been defined, validated, and included in accordance with the transportation needs and priorities of the state. This plan contains 460 individual bridges to be rehabilitated or replaced, 675 miles of improvements to 2-lane highways with deficient shoulders, and 2,810 lane miles improving pavement condition. The 2026 through 2033 construction work plan includes more than $7.08 billion in total investment in 1,266 individual projects. The commission approval of the 2026 through 2033 construction work plan is recommended. I'll take any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. And this work plan was reviewed with each commissioner individually. At least in my case, I feel fully briefed, and I'm sure the rest of the commissioners do also. So do I have a motion for approval of item 154?
Motion, Studeville.
Thank you.
Boswell, second.
Boswell, second. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. The motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 155 is compliance with House Bill 2164. Ms. Penn, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
During the 2025 legislative session, House Bill 2164 was passed. The legislation amends criminal statutes, state bidding procedures, requirements under the Central Purchasing Act, and implements ethical training requirements. The new statutory language addresses disclosures of business or family relationships during the bid submission process for the state contracts. And just for your information, conflicts of interest have always been required to be identified pursuant to the ethics rules, and Director Gatz previously identified and disclosed his conflict of interest to the Transportation Commission at the time the conflict arose in 2022. At that time, ODOT also amended its processes, its internal processes, to address the identification of this conflict. Now, to ensure compliance with this new law prior to its effective date of November 1st, the executive director must sign a certified written statement which describes the nature of any potential conflict of interest and provide it to the governing body's presiding officer, Chairman Peterson, who shall direct the certified statement to be placed in the meeting minutes. And for any commissioner to whom the law is applicable, a certified written statement disclosing any potential conflict of interest must be submitted to the Ethics Commission and made available to the public. To accomplish the public notice requirement, the certified statement will be included in the appropriate meeting minutes. I request that approval, recommend approval, pardon me. I recommend approval and request that the disclosures be placed in the minutes.
Thank you very much. Commission Secretary, please make sure any certifications are included in the minutes from today's meeting. Item 156, thank you, Ms. Penn. Item 156 is proposed bid openings. Ms. Bryant, you're recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and
Good morning.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
Item 156, proposed bid openings, consist of the final November 2025 and the tentative January 2026 bid openings. The department recommends approval.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. I have a motion for approval of item 156.
Motion, Studeville.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second, Scott.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 157 is awards. Mr. Goka, you are recognized to present along with Director.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, just in advance of Mr. Goka's presentation, I want to advise the Commission of an interim final rule titled the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program and Disadvantaged Business Enterprise and Airport Concessions Program Implementation Modifications. That rule was published in the Federal Register on Friday, October the 3rd. Fundamentally, that rule has the effect of law and does not allow the award of any federally funded contract that includes a DBE goal. In addition, no goals can be utilized in future contracts until such time as we complete a recertification process of all of our DBE firms. The award rejections that you will consider today are predicated on the provisions of the interim final rule, and the department is precluded from recommending the award of these contracts because the provisions requiring the goals are no longer in effect. So as such, the contracts will be relet without DBE goals in a future contract letting. So certainly wanted to make sure the commissioners were aware of that occurrence and also were a little bit better informed when you consider the award recommendations that are about to come before you. So
Good.
happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend we move to Mr. Goka's presentation.
Good. Thank you very much, Director. Mr.
Yes.
Goka. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 157 is the recommendations for awards for the September bid openings. It's in two parts. Part A is from the September 11th, 2025 regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the September 11th, 2025 bid opening referred to by call order be awarded: 100, 103, 106, 112, 115, 121, 124, 127, 136, 139, 142, 145, 151, 154, 157, 163, 169, and 175. It is also recommended that the following items from the September 11th bid opening referred to by call order be rejected: 109 and 148. Part B is from the September 18th regular bid opening. It is recommended that the following items from the September 18th regular bid opening referred to by call order be awarded: 130, 200, 206, 209, 215, 221, 230, 233, 239, 242, 245, 248, 251, 254, 260, 263, 266, and 269. It is recommended that the following items from the September 18th regular bid opening referred to by call order be rejected: 218 and 236. This concludes the recommendations, and approval is requested.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 157?
Motion Dyson.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Second.
Billy.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Goka. Item 158 is a director's report. This is for information only. Director Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Want to talk just for a minute, a little bit in a little bit more detail about this interim final rule. The award recommendation, again, is completely based on change conditions in those contracts. So we really need to go back and relet those. Also wanted to advise you that there are 34 engineering contracts that had not yet received commission award. Those are also impacted and will be resolicited without a DBE goal in those solicitations. In addition, we've got a request for qualifications out right now for the Roosevelt Bridge project, and that request for qualifications included a DBE goal. So we're going to do an addendum to the RFQ deleting the DBE goal, and that's going to be issued to all interested parties. That'll give them a chance to submit or amend their statement of qualifications for our consideration accordingly. So that's part of our efforts surrounding the interim final rule. Also, again, as we pointed out, the contracts, whether engineering or construction contracts, we will move quickly to make sure we get those rebid and resolicited. The need for the work is absolutely still there, so that doesn't diminish. So we're going to move quickly. And then I also want to call your attention to, you know, the goal setting of the DBE program is subject to our recertification of the DBEs that are going to be included. That's going to be a process that's going to take some time. It's going to absolutely require some additional guidance that we're going to receive from the Federal Highway Administration, and but we're going to start that and work through it as quickly as we can, because again, the interim final rule didn't do away with the program. The program is still there. It's just modifying it, and now we're going to react to it and do our absolute best to bring our program into compliance with the new requirements, and at the same time move forward as quickly as we can. So just want the commission to be aware of that. We will keep you posted as to what the progress on that looks like, and certainly that's going to be something we're focused on going forward. At the same time, we're dealing now with a federal government shutdown. I want to make sure the commission understands what that means. Certainly the department's been through this before, and fundamentally the impact of the shutdown on our ongoing operations is minimal. We're still having our federal billing processed, so it's not impacting us there. Where it will impact us is as we get further into federal fiscal 26, the things like the construction contract lettings that have federal participation, without access to New Year's worth of appropriations, we will have to very carefully consider those future lettings as to which projects we can have on them, which projects we can't. Hopefully, and based on, some of the things I'm hearing maybe this morning, the outlook may be a little bit better. I'm certainly not going to attempt to predict when we might be able to have a continuing resolution or a final resolution to the impasse that apparently exists. But it's something we're going to watch closely. Again, most importantly, we'll keep the commission advised as to what the progress is. And again, with a short-term continuing resolution, it still will be problematic for us because that doesn't provide access to our full year's worth of federal funding. So just something we will deal with day to day and week to week. And again, we will keep you posted on any adjustments that we have to make. Very much appreciate your consideration and approval this morning of the 8-year construction work plan. Very challenging year. I want to recognize the legislature's efforts in 24 and fiscal year 25 because they brought some one-time money in the form of retro funding. That was $200 million in each one of those years. It helped to shield us from some of the rebalancing challenges that we had this year. Ultimately, as you guys are intimately familiar with, we had to move some projects outside the confines of that 8-year window because of fiscal constraint. Those projects are included in our 8-year construction work plan report because our prioritization didn't change. Those projects are still priority, and they are still projects that need to be done. It's just going to take us a little bit longer to get to those projects. The other thing I want to call call to your attention, the federal funding program. We are in the final year of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act authorization. We will need a new highway bill at the end of federal fiscal 26, and the Congress is working on that new highway bill right now. In order to sustain the current funding levels, it's going to be challenging because the Highway Trust Fund right now is only supporting somewhere around 50 or 60% of all of the outlays. The rest of that is being made up with funding that was deposited to the trust fund by the Congress under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Whether or not that is a sustainable trend for the next highway bill is to be determined. I think it will be challenging. So again, that's something we're going to monitor very closely. I call that to your attention because we are trying to project our federal funding availability with some uncertainty, but we're doing the best we can. We're pretty good at predicting the federal program, so we've baked that into our funding projections because the state and the federal funding projections that we utilize for the 8-year plan set that fiscal responsibility that you expect of us. We only want to be making commitments in the 8-year plan to projects we feel like we can achieve. Part of that is wrestling with this inflationary trend that we've seen since about 2020. It's been extreme. The inflationary curve, the Federal Highway Administration keeps a national construction cost index for heavy highway construction. That construction cost index has increased in excess of 63% since 2020. And maintaining a trend like that doesn't track with what we would consider a normal inflationary pattern. And it certainly, we've experienced some extreme inflation on a loaf of bread, but not like we have in heavy highway. So we're wrestling with that trend. The good news is as you have seen in our contract award recommendations, our estimates, we're continuing to refine those based on those trends, and we are also seeing our bid prices start to level out and come down a little bit. So we're much closer on our award recommendations from the engineer's estimate to the contractor bids. That's a positive indicator. We hope that trend continues because we are seeing a little bit of a flattening of that curve. But it's something we're going to be paying very close attention to. And there's still some market volatility out there on the heavy highway construction arena. So again, very much appreciate your consideration. The thing to emphasize is our recognition of the needs of the system. You know, and again, I'm going to use some terms that are being updated right now, so you're probably going to hear these change. But, you know, the value of our highway system out there is in excess of $100 billion. It's the largest publicly owned asset. That asset's got a need of about $27 billion that we recognize today to bring it up to an acceptable standard. And again, we're updating those numbers because I'm not sure yet that they accurately reflect some of the increases that we've seen. So we're going to do an update. We'll advise the commission on what that looks like. But the bottom line is we're chasing that deterioration curve out there on the highway system, and we're just not getting there. The prioritization does not change. We've got to continue to follow through with those commitments. We will just get there a little bit slower than we would like, and we will continue to work at that. The 8-year plan and asset preservation plan really tells the public what our investment strategy looks like, and then that's something that we all use to communicate at a much higher and more detailed level. You know, that investment strategy at some point may have to change just a little bit further, because if it takes us longer to get to a highway location with a major improvement, that means we may have to do some life cycle type work on that location to try to extend its life until we can get there with a major improvement. So that's something we're going to wrestle with over the next few years and try to make sure that we get this resolved. Again, the needs are just outpacing our ability to get there with the improvements. We'll carry those discussions into the legislative session, make sure the legislature understands what's going on. The legislature's been nothing but supportive, so again, optimistically, we'll try to start to talk about what the future of transportation funding looks like at the state level. Certainly the congressional delegation is engaged at the federal level, and we're communicating with them. But it is going to be tough, and I think the recognition of that's important. Very much, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate your dedication and support, because just as the chairman pointed out, when we come and sit down with you, you're giving us some valuable time. Because those rebalancing meetings take some time for us to go through with you and make sure there's a clear understanding of the changes that we're making, and more importantly, why we're making those changes. And very much want to appreciate your participation in that process. So I'd pause there, Mr. Chairman, see if the commissioners have any questions about the 8-year work plan or the approval where projects encompassed.
Good here. I think we're good.
Okay, thank you. As we look to the future, you know, we've got a Red River rivalry game coming up. And as always, want to talk a little bit about game day traffic. Travelers heading down to the OU Texas game this weekend are going to have 2 lanes open the entire weekend on Interstate 35. However, we're going to remind everybody that there will be some construction zones. And that they're going to be really needing to pay particular attention. One of the biggest issues we've got is speed that's being traveled through our work zones. So we're going to have 2 lanes open for you. We respectfully request that we observe the posted speed limit through those construction work zones, and for that matter, on the entirety of I-35. That's something that is we're uniquely focused on. There's a big project at the Red River Bridge there at Thackerville, one at Turner Falls, and then one around Norman and Purcell. One of the things that we can't predict is what's going to happen on the Texas side of the Red River. So everybody needs to pay attention, because that is a big project that we're in partnership with them down at the Red. So we need to pay extra attention there. You can still, and we may be sold out, I'm not sure, but I know we're getting close. But the Heartland Flyer is having their annual big game train, And there still be some tickets available for it. That is a great way to get down there and back to Oklahoma for the game, and certainly ought to take a look at that. And it goes down to Dallas Friday morning, or the Fort Worth area, and then returns back Saturday or Sunday. Amtrak sponsors that with us, and again, that's usually a big draw. So again, want to make sure the traveling public is aware. Be some challenges headed down I-35. If you can take an alternate route, might be something worth considering. And but again, watch out for those work zones. Obey the posted speed limits. Put away distractions. More importantly than anything else, buckle your seatbelt. Because again, nobody ever intends to have a crash, but they happen very often. I want to report out and let that segue just a little bit into a discussion about our safety messaging. You know, our seatbelt campaign, Never Skip the Click, is wrapping up right now. And I want to recognize our communications team and everybody that was engaged and involved with that, because it was very well done, and I think it was very well received. And the indication of that is we had more than 1 million people view those videos. And again, those videos were powerful. Recognize Roger Straka particularly for his contribution. And, you know, but everybody has really picked that up on behalf of you know, the department and everybody else. The reason that's important is we're 44th in the nation in seatbelt usage. Just 86% of our population, based on our surveys, buckle their seatbelt. You know, to get into just the national average is 91%. So we've got some improvement to do. And the reason that's important is because you're about 50% more likely, if you're unrestrained and in an accident or a crash, to be severely injured or be a fatality. And so we absolutely want to ask everybody to buckle their seatbelts as they're traveling out there on the highway system. You know, today we are faced with a multitude of distractions, you know, whether that's cell phones, whether that is sometimes our own vehicles work against us because, you know, that big screen that you've got on the dash that's got all of those touch buttons that you can push, sometimes in itself can become a distraction. So again, we want everybody to pay particular attention to what's in front of them. On the pedestrian safety front this month, hard to believe we're already in October. Not sure what happened to the summer, but it's gone. And here we are coming into fall. Halloween in particular, we want to emphasize pedestrian safety. That coming up, got to be aware, especially of those trick-or-treaters that are going to be stepping in and out of parked vehicles and things like that in your neighborhood. We want people to be particularly mindful of that. But pedestrian safety is critical to us at all times. Be on the lookout for pedestrians, not just in the crosswalk. Sometimes on the shoulder. Sometimes it might be somebody that's having a problem with their vehicle and has had to get outside of their vehicle for one reason or another. We've got to pay attention to them. If you see those flashers on a vehicle, it's incumbent upon us by state law to move over and slow down. So again, we really want to put an emphasis on that. And 75% of national pedestrian fatalities occur in the dark, so especially at nighttime. And 48% involve prior alcohol consumption by the driver and or the pedestrian. So again, impairment is still an issue out there for us, not just alcohol, but marijuana usage. So again, we want to just call the traveling public's attention to that particularly this month, and be on the lookout for pedestrians that might be out there on the highway, or for that matter in your very neighborhood. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I would stand for any questions that the commission might have of me. And again, thank you for your consideration and participation this morning.
Do commissioners have any comments or questions? All right. Thank you, Director
Thank you, Mr.
Gass.
Chairman.
Thank you.
If commissioners have no other comments, then I'd hear a motion for item 159, which is adjournment.
Make a motion.
Second Dyson.
There we go. All right, please cast your vote. We are adjourned. Motion passes. Thank you very much.